My profit from 10 lakhs and 12 lakhs, 2 lakhs,
2 lakhs.
reduced to 1 lakh 50,000. But I got the money today. Get a team which can, if you are doing entrepreneurship, you need to get a team which has to have the same dream that you have. 1,000, 10,000, or maybe 1 million Manishas who is thinking the company in the same way Manish is thinking. And networking, just don't do a meaningless networking. Do a meaningful networking and do it so much time that nobody else in the world can clean the things better than you. Say that I will be the best, I will be known as the number one in that. And much things as is coming to you, just keep on absorbing.
Hello and welcome back again with one more latest episode of GIBS IRE Talks podcast, powered by GIBS Business School, Bangalore, where innovation meets inspiration. Here today we have an amazing personality with us who has been pioneer in the industry of complete a new domain in the investment industry, I would say. Money is very important in any business, and lending it to somebody isn't a risky choice. Yes. So today we have one of the renowned personality of the industry who has an amazing platform to help all the financial challenges of the business, and that is KredX. And today we have with us the founder and CEO of KredX, Mr. Manish Kumar. Manish sir, thank you so much for joining. It's a really pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you.
So let's starting the podcast today. I'm really very excited to know about your background. Where did you start from, and where you're basically from?
So I started my career as in my engineering from IIT Kanpur. I am from Patna. And after doing IIT Kanpur, I landed up in a bank. So I call myself a fraud techie. Fraud techie because though I'm a IT engineer, I didn't do anything on tech related to it. I landed up somehow in bank. I joined Citibank. I worked as in Citibank for 2 years as a product manager. This was a time when nobody has heard of the name called product manager. And I was also pretty confused what I am doing with my life, because I'm not doing anything in tech and I'm not doing anything in business. And when I try to search for a similar job title, I can't find anything in something called product manager. So I got a little bit worried about it, and I left City and joined HSBC. In HSBC, I worked in risk for a good 8 years. I was working with North America business in across multiple products, starting from auto finance to cards business, and spend a lot of time in card business. Then HSBC card business in North America got acquired by Capital One in North America, and I joined Cap One as a part of the acquisition. Worked there for 2 years. During that time is when I realized that this banking is enough, and there's not much to do in banks, because most of the banks are like 100 years old, and they have become such a giant big thing that any changes takes years to do. And I don't want to become part of another M&A. I was part of at least 6 M&A within the HSBC also and outside. So I thought that what should I do? So I started thinking of something to do on my own. That is the time when the idea of KredX came in terms of it.
That was in 2015.
That was in 2013.
Okay.
And then across 1.5 years has took me to go from finding out from idea to actually starting the business, because it's being a fintech, it has a lot of regulatory legal issues and all. So I spend a lot of time going back and forth with regulators, with legal people and all, and then started it in 2015.
Super. So I think KredX has already been RBI registered, RBI accredited, and
so we are still a fintech. Now we have different companies, different subsidiaries. One is an IFSCA licensed. IFSCA is the GIFT City entity, which is the International Finance Service Center Authority. So that's registered. We have a couple of licenses pending with RBI also, which we are hoping to get very soon. And then there are a SaaS business also, where we have make a product and which we sell it as a SaaS product also. So there's multiple business that we are into.
Okay, great. So what was the vision behind starting all about KredX?
I mean, very frankly, to start with, I got bored with my job, and that's where I started thinking and saying that, all my ideas and other things which I'm putting up in bank is taking too much time to change. And, why not do something differently, right? So it started with thinking that maybe I can do some changes in the banking and financial services, and maybe that changes would be 25% changes in terms of efficiency gain and how we are doing and all those things. And considering finance is a big market, even 25% is worth it. So that was my initial thought.
Okay.
Then when I landed on KredX as an idea, the invoice discounting piece. And then when I started researching, I realized it's a much bigger problem and much bigger thing. Found out a good solution, and then I started working on it, and that's how it's becomes income.
So if you could just give little light on what invoice discounting is, because a lot of our viewers might be probably the young generation who don't know what invoice discounting is.
So I give you a very simple example of understanding it. Let's say I started a new business, right? Let's say whatever, let's say I got 10 lakhs from my friend family, and say I want to manufacture, or I want to just manufacture shirts, right? I want to manufacture shirts, some good quality shirts. I got lucky, I got a contract from let's say Zara,
Okay.
to supply them the shirts, and then Zara will put their tag and sell it off, right? Now for 10 lakhs worth of my initial capital, I produce, let's say, 10 lakhs worth of goods also, right? So 10 lakhs worth of goods, I supplied it to Zara, and Zara said that, okay, this is good, I will pay you in 90 days.
Okay.
Right? Now my capital has been used, so I have nothing to do.
Nothing.
So for next 90 days, I can't do anything because I have, my capital has gone. I have already shipped the good to Zara. Zara said I will pay you in 90 days because my approval process takes that much time and all those things. Now I'm lucky to get a contract with Zara so early, right?
Absolutely.
So I will say that, yeah, that is fine, 90 days, just contract is fine, right? Once I get, so I built for that 10 lakhs worth of things. I
Okay.
built Zara, let's say 12 lakhs, right? So I used 10 lakhs of capital, produce shirts, build Zara 12 lakhs.
12 lakhs.
Zara said I will pay you it in 90 days. Now what I will do is I have two options, or three options. One, I don't do anything for 90 days, right?
Okay.
Option one, wait for the money to come.
Then
use
we
that
again
12
restart the
lakhs,
process.
produce again, right? And then again, right? So in 1 year, I can rotate it four times, right? And at, let's say, 12 to 14 lakhs, I will do, my revenue for the entire year will be roughly around, let's say, 60 lakhs, right? 60 lakhs will be the revenue for my entire thing, right? So that is option one. Option two is I will go to banks and say, hey, give me some loan, and I want to start. But bank will say, give me some house or home or something as a collateral, as a security, then only I can give you, which I don't have because I already borrowed from my friends and also. Option two is out. Option three is what KredX as invoice discounting present.
Okay.
KredX comes and say, hey, you have sold it to Zara. Zara is a perfect client for us. You sell this 12 lakhs worth of invoice to me for, let's say, 11 lakhs 50,000.
Okay.
Okay. I will give you the money 11 lakhs 50,000 right away, right? You let go your 50,000 as a profit, right? Once Zara will give me money after 90 days, that 12 lakhs is mine, right? But I'm giving you 11 lakhs 50,000 right away. Now I will take that 11 lakh 50,000, right? So my profit from 10 lakhs and 12 lakhs, 2 lakhs, reduced to 1 lakh 50,000, but I got the money today. Now I produce again, and again
so
I
cycle can Zara. Be increased. Like
yeah, so I again produce, I again shipped it to Zara. Zara again said 90 days, right? But I'm getting money every day, right? So how many times I rotated it? 365 days instead of 4 times, right? In option A, right? Now, so my revenue will be basically 365 into, even at 10 lakhs, it's basically 3 crores, 3.5, 3.6 crore, right? So that will be my revenue. My profit margin has reduced because I'm discounting it. I'm letting go 50,000. But my revenue is 3.6. What is my total profit? My margins are reduced, but my profit has increased. My total profit has increased. So whatever may be the revenue,
the number of cycles have increased.
Yes. So that is what invoice discounting is. So KredX provides that platform where this guy who is selling it to Zara or of the world, they can come and say, hey, give me my 11 lakh 50,000 against the 12 lakhs invoice, and I can produce again. So that is where the other side of KredX is, where there are investors who will come and say, oh, there is the counterparty is Zara. Zara is a MNC. They can always pay on 90 days promise and to pay. So I'm ready to give money because I have additional money as an investment, and I'm ready to get 50,000 on a 12 lakhs investment or 11 lakhs 50,000 investment. Okay. So for them, it's a return of 12-13% that they are getting. They are happy. The guy who has given the money is happy. And we are making KredX is in between, is making some transaction fee in between, we are happy. So it's a win-win-win
Win-win situation for all of
the
us.
situation.
That's
And maybe for Zara also, because now the guy who is selling it to Zara is not cribbing to Zara saying that give me
money
faster.
Correct. So that's really nice. So when you say that when you started this journey, I'm sure you would have faced a lot of challenges. So what were the few early challenges you faced when you started
I
KredX?
think the initial biggest challenge was basically two things. One is the see that the market is there or not, right? So that is your initial research. Now, being in a fintech, the second biggest problem was regulatory and legal, right? You cannot just start something out of blue moon, right? So you have to go and talk to regulators, you have to go and talk to legal people and find it out what you are doing is right or wrong, and what is the right way of doing things, right? So you can work in basically a little bit of gray area, but you can't work in a red area kind of a thing. Correct. Right? So that is where you have to work it out. So we met a lot of people from regulators, we met a lot of legal guys, we work with a lot of mentors also. That's why I said that we started in 2013, but we actually started operation in 2015, right? So it took us almost more than 1.5 years for us to do the MVP, make sure our contracts are right, make sure that what we are doing is legally right. And I always say that the first and the last sort of you can say the guy who in a startup which makes sure that you are ethically and morally and legally right is the founder. Right? If they want to do wrong, they can do wrong, right? So that's why they're the first and the last defense. So we have instilled in our day one from in our entire team that no matter whatever comes, we'll do right things, we'll not do wrong. And that's why still today, when you asked me earlier the questions, we said that I don't care how other platforms are doing, we will always do right thing. And that's why what we are doing is why we are doing it. Now people can want to tech market and they do some hanky panky thing. That's not us, that we will not do, and that's possibly the reason we are still in the market from last almost 9 years. We are the first, we are still the largest, and we are still there.
And being a pioneer, I'm sure you would have had the first movers advantage also in the industry.
Yes, both, right? There are first mover advantage also, but there is also like you take more time to solve, right? So for people who copy you, it's easier to copy.
It's easier to
They
copy.
can just say, hey, just hire a couple of guys from KredX, just see what KredX is doing, just copy it. Sometimes, or I would say 90% of them, they don't even know why KredX has done something what they have done, right? And in that you spend a lot of sleepless night to find out why we are doing something like that.
Okay. That's really a pain point when you say that you have prepared a product and somebody says,
But, yeah, that always happens, right? You do something and people will always copy, right? There's nothing which is non-copyable until unless I don't know, maybe product or maybe deep Gen AI kind of LLM models you are doing, but everything is eventually become copyable. It's just that you have to keep innovating, and hope that people will not, and it's a culture of the company also that you create, right? If a company is only doing basically what do you say, a catch up game. So I always say that, I always generally tell it to most of my guys who works in my company, is that always work for the top two companies in whatever sector whatever field that you work. But all the action is in the top two companies, rest everybody is just playing the catch up game. They are not doing anything, they're just doing that catch up game. They're saying, oh, that too is the market leader, they have done this, let's do that, right? So they're just doing catch up. The guy who is innovating, the guy who's inventing is the first two guy, because first guy who is a market leader and second who is challenging him is neck to neck, and that's why the first guy is innovating faster and the second guy is also innovating. Rest everybody is in catch up game. So if you really want to do something good with your life, always work with the top two companies. There's no point working with anybody else. You're just wasting your time and life.
That's absolutely a good message which you say you have to always be in a top two organizations.
Yes. I remember this is something which one of my alumni told me long back when I was doing my engineering, that always work for top two companies in the world, in whatever sector you work, whatever, right? If the sector is new, find out who is the top two companies and work for only that. There's no point working for anybody else.
Absolutely. So when you say that you started with the invoice discounting and you have gradually evolved yourself into a complete supply chain finance solutions. So what are the other things which is involved when you say other than the invoice discounting? So when you say what is supply chain, if you could help us to understand a little better.
So invoice discounting is just a part of supply chain, or I don't know which one you can say is the subset or the superset, but fundamentally they're the same thing. They're not different from each other. What we have done is we have started going into main more stream of supply chain or invoice discounting. So we were doing the upstream, which is the vendor to from anchor to the vendor suppliers. We gone into downstream, which is dealer distributor. Also, we gone into export import also. So we are doing export import. And while doing this entire piece, we realized that supply chain finance or trade finance is just one part of the puzzle. The larger puzzle is B2B payments, right? And that's why I say trade finance is part payment, part lending, right? That's why the volume of the supply chain finance cannot be as large as payment, but cannot be as low as lending also, right? It has to be somewhere in the middle. And there we started working in B2B payments, and where we started creating products which can help businesses do the payments properly, error free, more easily, and managing the B2B payment. Because once you manage the B2B payment part of it, the supply chain finance is just a part of it in terms of it.
Okay, so since you happened to mention earlier that you've already worked in a lot of banking industry as well, so how do you think that experience has built the team of KredX? Have that helped you in terms of choosing
Yes,
a better
I
team?
mean, see, invoice discounting is itself is a complex product, right? How many 22 years old or 25 years old even heard of invoice discounting?
Absolutely.
Or for that matter, even supply chain finance? Maybe they have heard it, but they can't explain what is it,
What it is.
right? So once I was part of the banking, that's where I understood, right, that there is these kind of problems are there, and this is large enough problems to be solved and all. So of course it helped. It also helped in understanding, because we took like 1.5 years to understand the product, the complexity, the regulation, the legality part of it. And why we have spent that much time, because being in part of banking, we realize that that's important, right? You cannot, and that's why you keep on hearing that RBI comes up with new regulation to say, hey, this was not allowed, that was not allowed, right? The reason why they keep on coming is because people comes and say, hey, let's do something, right, without realizing, boss, it's not allowed.
Not allowed.
Right? So that's why I say you can work on gray areas, you can't work on red areas, right? So that is the red areas which was things. And working in bank is what makes you certain that you can't cross the red line, right? You have to be always on the right side of the red line and say that, hey, this is, even if it spends more, you have to spend more time, more effort, more money into it, you have to do it. That's like non-negotiable.
But when it comes to banking, or probably specific in terms of banking industry, there are a lot of documentation, and I'm sure even in your industry somewhere it is more to do with finance. A lot of documentations and things are. And today, if we see documentation, data is everything. So, do you really? How frequently do you analyze the data which you receive it from the
Very,
industry?
very, very frequently. In fact, I generally say that now we don't use a lot of this data that I'm telling you, because it's a very, very powerful data. But fundamentally, think about it that when you sit on invoices data, it's a extremely, extremely powerful data. I tell you an example of it, and I'm not saying this is what we do. This is just an example of what all you can do with it. For example, in my previous example of Zara, right? Now assume you are working, you are financing 80% of the Zara supply chain financing, right? You are getting all the data of who is shipping what to Zara, right? And how frequently Zara is ordering from them,
Ordering from them.
right? Even before what Zara knows, you knows that what is the sale of Zara is going
Zara.
to be this quarter or this year, right? If you know that's how much sale they are going to do, you can pretty much find out what is going to be their stock prices, right?
Okay.
That's how powerful data you are sitting on. That's why I said we don't use those data, but I'm just saying how powerful that data can be. So yes, there are a lot of data. As being in finance, a lot of data comes. Good thing is a lot of these data are now already digitized or in coming out in digital format. It helps you understand the working capital cycle of different companies. It helps you understand the payment pattern of different cycles, different companies, to analyze that how good you can finance them.
Okay. So when we say like a data, or probably all this confidential information what you have, so what is that which generally the KredX do to be stay ahead in the industry with regard to the all other competitions in the industry?
So we have a lot of what we call is now has also become the information that we have. For example, very small thing, right? In 2018, after this ILFS crisis happened, what happened is ILFS rating has gone down from AAA to D in like 1 week, I guess. And in fact, it got re-rated twice in a single day,
Oh,
right? So when these kind of things happens, then you realize that I can't trust these rating agencies rating what is coming up. So what we did is we built our own model
okay.
to rate the companies, right? So our model is now built on almost 60 data points. And a lot of times people are like surprised. People come to us and say, hey, this is an anchor, this is a rated anchor or a triple B rated anchor, can you do it? And we said, sorry, no, we can't do it because it's falling short of my model. But at the same time, there's a new, some company came and they said, yeah, you're good to do it. The reason is because it comes out good in our model, right? We build our own model based upon a lot of different things, right? And we did sort of a lot of these stress testing of a model happens because when there was recently a company which was almost rated, was A rated and become almost C minus rated
Oh,
in 1 month's time, and it was used to be a stock market darling, and it came crashing and all those things. Now they have recovered, but this was does happen. My model actually able to identify it 3 months before anything, and
okay.
3 months before we said we will not do it. So that's the power of my model, because I have a lot of, not a sort of a backward looking story, but more like a forward looking
Forward
model,
looking story.
where I see even small triggers that people sometimes leave. My models pick up those kind of a thing. So a lot of these things help, and we keep on working on it. We keep on working on new models, new things, new. We have at least, I guess, more than 30 plus triggers which works every day, which says how the patterns are changing,
Okay.
right? Some of the times it becomes very hard for us to explain it to our customer also, that why we are doing this, but this is what it
This
is,
is what
right?
it
We know that this is working, and that's what we are doing.
Okay, since we are on a platform called as GIBS IRE program, which majorly works on innovation research and entrepreneurship. So, how would you add or attribute to innovation in KredX, and what kind of innovation
Oh,
are you looking forward?
yeah, I told you, right? All the innovation happens in the top two companies, right? Rest everybody is just playing the catch-up game. They just say, okay, what this company has done, let's just implement that things, right? That's what our earlier discussion was also about. Uh, we always put innovation at the top of it. I always say that the day you stop innovating is the end of the company. Is the end of company, is the end of humans also. The day you stop reskilling or learning also as a human being, you stop doing anything good. You just stop, right? So as an organization also, an organization has a sum total of people. So people has to keep on innovating. If you stop it, you are done for that.
If I have to request you that, what message would you like to give us to all the students who are looking forward? Because we see, when we see Gen Z, right, a lot of them are more keen on startups are also growing. Being in Bangalore, startup capital, a lot of startups are coming in. So, what importance does innovation carries, or to lead a business, or probably even to be an employee of an organization? What message would you love to give to the students, sir?
Innovation, of course, like, keep on innovating, keep on doing new things. No knowledge goes waste. No knowledge in the world, I have never seen in my life any knowledge getting waste. And there's a difference between knowledge and education.
Education.
Education is degree, knowledge is what you consume, and make it an insight to you. I have started my career in which, when I started doing, somebody has asked me, being an engineer, somebody asked me to actually do accounting, right? Credit debit. For an engineer, it's like, what the hell is that? Credit debit. Sorry, dude. And even in engineering, I thought that this is the last thing in my life I will do.
I will do.
Eventually I did. This was the first thing in my life that I did in my, like, corporate life.
Corporate life.
I thought it's never going to get used in, but the amount of time I had used that knowledge in my own startup and overall is just humongous. So any set of knowledge that you are getting, just take it, right? Wherever you are getting it, that's going to be helpful, because that is going to give you an edge. It's the same way how innovation gives you an edge, because innovation also tells you a new thing to come, which gives you an edge over everybody else, right? So
Okay.
it's very, very important to keep on reskilling, learning, get more knowledge, innovate, think of a new way of doing anything, right? That's not harm anyone.
That's really great. And as we all know, the learning is always inevitable. You need to learn, whether you're a student, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a CEO, whatever
Absolutely,
level you are at.
absolutely, absolutely. You don't stop learning. As I say, you stop learning, it's the end of you.
Absolutely. So then my next question is, what strategies do you identify to have partners with you, which can add value to KredX or probably your business? How do
I
you
would say
do?
same kind of same kind of values is very important for any of our partners, whether it's our people who works with us, or people who basically we partner with for next set of growth or innovation, or just like a normal business partnership. Having the same values, same ethics, same kind of a thought process is very important. I was just giving the talk and I was telling people that you need to get a team which can, if you are doing entrepreneurship, you need to get a team which has to have the same dream that you have, right? The dream that is giving you sleepless night, your team also has to have the same dream. If they
Same.
are not, then you can't do everything on
There's
your own,
always a
right?
mismatch.
The trick of entrepreneurship is not to have a new idea or to create a company. The trick is basically how can you create 10, 100,000, 10,000, or maybe 1 million Manishas who is thinking the company in the same way
Same
Manish
way.
is thinking and Manish is doing. That is the trick, right? That is the only way for a company to grow. You can't grow it on alone.
Absolutely. When you say that we cannot do it alone, so I would say somewhere network gets involved, right? So networking, you being a leader or you being the CEO of KredX, what message do you think you give it to the students when it comes to the networking with the people, networking with the industry, networking with the and any kind of potential?
So I think networking has become a abused term right now, right? There's something called normal networking, what people does on LinkedIn, just send request, and they think that, oh, I have connected to 10,000 people, that's a networking. Or what is called is meaningful networking, right? A meaningful networking is when you are network with people and learn from it,
Learn from there.
right? If you are just sending invite to 10,000 people, you are not learning from anything. It's not worth it, right? You're just one of the guys in 10,000. The other guy is also network too. But once you start learning from it, meeting them, try to get as much from them. That is where that is become useful. So that's why I'm saying networking. Just don't do a meaningless networking.
Networking.
Do a meaningful networking, and meaningful networking is when you are learning. When you learn, people will understand that you are a learned individual, and then they will help you also grow.
Absolutely right. Because Mr. Manish, when I learned a lot of things from you today, where I understood a lot of concepts about invoice discounting or probably the entire scenario of the banking industry, what you work for. So I would love if you can give us one last message to all our students that one specific skill set any student must carry. And this is, I would say, specifically for our GIBS students, that what message would you like to give it with regard to the skill set, what they should possess?
I think every skill set is valuable. If you ask me, I think what matters is the hunger for it, right? Can you be hungry enough to for anything, right? I say I was talking to you earlier. I told you that there's no place for average, unfortunately nowadays, right? Take any skill set. If you think you are a good singer, sing, right? But spend like thousands of hours uh, absolutely nailing down the singing,
Nailing down.
right? I always say, if you know how to broom well in a room, clean up the dirt, do it so much time that nobody else in the world can clean the things better than you, and then people will pay billions of dollars to you. But get one thing, don't go into like just saying that there's no, have that hunger, have that itch to say that I will be the best, I will be known as the number one in that. I always say that there are maybe 8 billion or 10 billion skill set in the world. The thing that lies is in which that skill set you are the number one in
Number
the
one.
world, right? And that skill set, if you identify, you become like the top person in the
Top
entire
person.
world. But that to identify lies with you and not with your parents, not with your mentor, not with anybody else, right? And that takes a lot of time to find it out.
Absolutely. Because as you rightly said, you have to be a master of one rather than
Yes,
being jack of all.
be a jack of all also. There's no problem in being a jack of all, but at least have that one
One
skill
thing.
set where you can be like, or just have hunger to learn more. As much is coming, right? It's like a sponge. As much things as is coming to you, just keep on absorbing.
All right. So thank you so much, sir. It was really amazing interacting with you. We have learned a lot of things. I'm sure our audience would also agree on that, that we have learned a lot of things from you. Looking forward for such many more podcasts where we can engage, and I would love to learn more things from you. Thank you so
Sure.
much for joining in, sir.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you. Thanks.
So, thank you so much for audience for joining in. I'm sure you would have learned a lot of things about invoice discounting. How does the industry works when it says invoice discounting or the business? So, looking forward to see many such more entrepreneurs getting into the industry to help all our students. Don't forget to like, share, and comment our GIBS B School Bangalore page, and to stay connected and updated with upcoming many more such podcasts. Thank you so much. Stay connected, stay healthy, and stay innovative. Thank you.